I think it happened a couple of days ago, really, and it started trending online and stuff. And I liked it. I saw the video, I was emotional about it. I also felt what some people felt, but I just decided to be a little introspective and to just ponder. So it's about the change of garments and the handover ceremony, or about the transition between Bishop T.D. Jakes and his daughter Sarah Jakes. I've been hearing about Sarah for a while. Her name is obviously very global and all of that, but I had never encountered her voice, her power, her teaching, or anything before. So my first encounter was in this year, like 2022, May 2022, where I drove to the Potter's house to worship. And on this fateful day, I had thought that it was going to be Bishop, her father, that was preaching. But when I got to church, I noticed that it was a special service, so I think that he had invited her to come or something. And Bishop got on stage and started talking about his daughter. The first thing I noticed was the respect, the reverence, and just the love between a father and a child. And I was overwhelmed and I was loving every bit of it. And he said, oh, she was going to preach. I didn't know what to expect. My mind was very open and clear, you know, but I'd always known her name. So I was like, oh, good encounter. Finally, I am going to feast on this. And the service was something else. Her message was powerful. I remember that after that, I went home. All through the month of May, I was binging on her YouTube videos. If I didn't watch at all, I would have seen over 50. And her story is very humbling. Got pregnant at 13, got a child at 14, then got married, I think at 19, had a divorce at 23. And then I like the fact that people like the fact that, woman thou lose has evolved. But I can't try to fathom the level of shame that some human beings would have served her and offered her. If you know what it is to be pregnant at 13, to get married, and then a divorce, get married at 19 and a divorce, what must have happened to her at that time? Like, wow. I listened to the transition and I was very humbled at a father's love. There were quite a handful of lessons that I learned. The first one was TD Jakes had her back in and out of season. Like her father was there, like he was meant to be there, a rock. Her parents were there for her. I can't imagine the shame, the gossip, the disappointment, the embarrassment. Oh, the gossip around pastor's child is pregnant. They will be preaching on stage. They would not, watch over their family. All of those things here and there. The subtle, the private and public gossip, private and public shame, where even as a parent, you may begin to ask yourself the question, where did I go wrong? Did I not raise them well? What should I have done differently? You are just there with questions that may not be able to be answered. And then she got married. A part of you might have felt, oh, finally, at least she's now married. And then another divorce at 23, and then you're like, we're back to this place again. And then even for her as a woman, as a child, when it looks like, can you ever get something right? When are you going to get it right? I was watching the transition, the handover, I was watching all of those things. I saw glory, But before the glory, there was his story, and I just felt we should all be the kind of person who will stay behind and who will stay with, like, we should never leave people we love in fire. I am one person who keeps saying, if you are used to serving people shame, please stop it. If you are used to disgracing people, if you are used to messing people up, rejoicing at their failures, their embarrassment, their disappointment, it is very unkind and we should not do it. I celebrate who she has become today and her grace. Like, I was jogging this morning and I was listening to the transition between her and her father, and I was very humbled. Like, I listen to her on YouTube. I love her, like, I am just grateful, but I can't imagine what she and her family members went through. Can we at least be kind to people? Can we offer people grace where disgrace is up and about? And I am very clear and aware that it is not a family business. Sarah is anointed. She's a fantastic teacher of the word. The first time I was under her teaching, she explained the Bible like a storyteller. I was in awe of her knowledge and her depth, and I just celebrate everything. Like, I see her and I say that grace, 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 and the second life and the second chance ticket is available. If you are a Christian, what we have been called to do is to offer love, not shame. What we have been called to do is to stand with people, to be their anchors. T.D. Jakes did what fathers are supposed to do. T.D. Jakes did what husbands are supposed to do for their wives. It takes security to do that. It takes security and leadership to know. He actually made a statement. He said that I may decrease that you may increase. Only a secure man can say that. Only a secure father can say that. I know some leadership, whatever, that the moment they see that you are shining and you are, you are unstoppable, they start getting threatened and intimidated. But T.D. Jakes is a good example for all of us in love, in support, in understanding. It will be wicked of you to think that, oh, he handed over to his daughter because it's a family business. No, your children can be anointed. Your children can be used by God, and you must recognize it. He's recognized other thousands of people. He's hired them to work with him. He must also recognize the grace upon his children, and all of them in one way or the other are servants and are serving God. And of course, a husband is somebody else. And if you can, as you pray for yourself, pray for everybody, every millennial, every generation Z, every soul that is sharing the word of God and is standing in gap and is trying to help people be emotionally stable in an unstable world. That is what humans do. I am rooting for Sarah, I am rooting for their family, and I am rooting for every Christian who says, I have messed up, I am tired, I want to give up. I'm saying to you, God does not offer shame, God offers restoration, and He wants to restore you. So I am giving you a virtual hug. I love you, I'm rooting for you. Look at Sarah's trajectory, look at her story. An average human will have stoned her and messed her up, but definitely not her father, not her family members, and not God. So welcome back home. Welcome back home. All of us were prodigal at a point, but here we are doing what we were created, designed, and orchestrated to do. I love all of you and I'm rooting for you. And then remember to sign up to my YouTube channel.